My wife said you're just a backup plan, so I gave her the exit she deserved. I thought our marriage was built on love. Turns out it was built on convenience for her. I wasn't her soulmate. I was her safe option. I heard it with my own ears, straight from her mouth. So I planned the most romantic anniversary evening she could imagine. Candlelight, champagne, violinist. Everything she dreamed of. And right in the middle of it, I gave her the gift of freedom. Cold, clean freedom. Name's Eric. I'm 36. Software engineer by trade, problem solver by nature. I've always been the kind of guy who listens more than he talks, who fixes things quietly, who puts others first. And I thought that's what made me a good husband. Claire, my wife, always said she felt safe with me. I thought that was a compliment. I thought we were partners. Turns out I was just a goddamn placeholder. The guy who showed up on time, paid the bills, and folded the laundry while she wished someone else had proposed. But don't worry, I fixed that too. Have you ever heard your whole life unravel in a single sentence? It was a regular Tuesday night. I had just finished prepping our anniversary weekend. 11 years together. Fancy dinner reservation, hotel suite, surprise getaway. I even found a place that made her favorite kind of lavender panna cotta. I know, I'm that kind of guy. But while walking past the guest bathroom, I heard her talking to Denise, her sister. I wasn't even eavesdropping. Not intentionally. I was on my way to grab the laundry basket. And then Claire's voice drifted out. Clear as day. Eric was always the safe choice. I knew he'd never cheat. Never leave. I mean, yeah, maybe I settled. But I was tired of heartbreak. He was stable. Settled. Safe. Like I was a fucking insurance policy. She cashed in when love failed her. She laughed. Denise said something I couldn't hear. Claire added, I mean, come on. He's never been the love of my life. But he's easy. He adores me. It works. I stood there, holding a pile of socks, wondering how many years I'd been the background actor in my own marriage. After that, I didn't sleep. I didn't confront her. I didn't blow up. I just sat on the edge of the bed and realized I was done being easy. The next morning, I canceled one thing, the hotel suite. Everything else stayed. I figured if she thought I was safe, I'd let her feel just how unsafe I could be. I started planning. That same day, I went to a lawyer. Alice. She was sharp, cold, and loved dismantling liars for sport. She read the marriage file like it was a grocery list and said, "Oh, we're going to have fun." She handed me paperwork to start the separation process. I asked her to make the file confidential. Claire would find out, but not until the exact right moment. I also called Mark, my best friend. He'd always had a skeptical eye about Claire, but never said anything out of respect. When I told him what she said, he didn't even act surprised. I mean, Eric, she's always treated you like a safe bet, not a partner, a fallback. That hit like a damn truck. Mark offered me his spare apartment. Clean, furnished, just outside the city. I filed the lease the same day. Then came the tech setup. I pulled out an old phone, wiped it clean, and started recording every room in the house where conversations happened. Living room, kitchen, home office, even the backyard patio. Nothing illegal, only common areas I had every right to access. I wasn't trying to be sneaky for sneakiness' sake. I just needed confirmation, something concrete. I didn't wait long. 2 nights later, Claire was texting someone while sipping wine. The recording caught her saying, "No, Eric has no idea. He's still doing the whole anniversary thing like we're some kind of fairy tale couple." She snorted. "He thinks I don't know about the hotel. He's adorable." Then she said the name, Trent. Apparently Trent was her ex, the one who left her 5 years before she met me. And apparently he was back in her life. Safe choice, my ass. It all lined up then. The late nights at yoga. The phone always face down, the solo girls' weekends. I watched the recording in my car, parked 2 blocks away. Then I sent it to Alice and Mark. My next move? Make her believe I was still the perfect husband. The sweet, clueless man she'd married. So I doubled down. Roses at work. Homemade breakfast in bed. I even offered to take her parents out for dinner. She ate it up. And all the while, I was counting down to our anniversary night. She had no idea what was coming. The restaurant was Claire's favorite. One of those dimly lit, overpriced places where the steak costs more than a tank of gas and the wine list comes in a leather-bound folder like it's a damn constitution. I wore the watch she bought me on our 2nd anniversary. She wore the red dress I always told her she looked incredible in. From the outside, we looked like a happy couple celebrating 11 years together. No one in that restaurant knew I was about to burn the whole thing to the ground. She ordered the scallops. I got the filet. We toasted with champagne. her glass clinking against mine like it was just another year of marital bliss. She was smiling, giggling, leaning over the table like she was about to seduce me in the parking lot after dessert. "You've been so sweet lately," she said, brushing her hand over mine. "Just trying to make our night perfect," I said, and meant every word, just not in the way she expected. I let her talk about her day, the spa package she booked for next weekend, and how Denise might be moving out of state. Normal things. Mundane. Nothing that gave away the fact that sitting in my coat pocket was a manila envelope that might as well have been a ticking time bomb. Once dessert arrived, I reached into my pocket and pulled it out. She looked at it like it was a surprise gift. Kind of was. "What's this?" she asked, smiling like she thought she was getting jewelry or handwritten vows. "It's something you've been earning for a while now," I said. She slid her perfectly manicured nails under the flap and opened it. Inside, divorce papers. Photos of her and Trent, courtesy of Mark, who followed her one night when I fell asleep early. A printout of the transcript from her call with Denise. A USB drive with video clips from the cameras I had placed around the house. Her face went pale like someone flipped a switch inside her. "What the fuck is this?" she whispered, trying to keep her voice down. "That's the real anniversary gift," I said. "You're free now. No more safe guy. You can go chase your chaos." The waiter came over just in time to hear her say, "This is a joke, right?" I stood up and buttoned my jacket. "Nope, not a joke. But thank you for the 11-year performance. Oscar-worthy, really?" Heads turned. A couple at the next table stopped chewing. She grabbed my arm. "You can't do this. Not here. Not like this." I smiled. "Why not? You were fine humiliating me in private for years. It's only fair the truth shows up in public for once." She was frozen, like she didn't know if she should cry, scream, or chase after me. I left her there, papers on the table, half-eaten dessert and all. The maitre d' tried to hand me the check. I said, "She's got it," and walked out. Mark was parked across the street, engine running. When I got in, he just said, "Done. Done." He handed me a beer. To be the safe choice. We laughed so hard we nearly stalled the car. By the time I got home, Mark's apartment now, Claire had blown up my phone with texts, voicemails, a few missed calls from Denise too. I ignored them all. That night I slept better than I had in years. Let her sit there in that dress, surrounded by the wreckage of her own lies. And that was just the beginning. The morning after the dinner blow-up, I got a text from Denise, Claire's sister. "Can we talk? Claire's a wreck." She didn't mean it the way it sounded, right? Because there's a nice way to call your husband the safe bet. I ignored it at first, but Denise was relentless. By noon she was at the door of Mark's place, where I'd been staying, holding a coffee and trying to play the mediator. She wasn't subtle. "She's devastated, Eric. You blindsided her." I laughed. Devastated because I found out, or because I finally walked? Denise sighed. She said stupid things. We all say dumb shit when we vent. That doesn't mean she doesn't love you. I leaned against the counter. Calm. Controlled. "You're defending her?" "She's my sister." "Cool," I said, walking over to the speaker on the shelf. "Then you'll love this." I grabbed my phone, scrolled to the saved file and hit play. Claire's voice filled the apartment. Clear. Crisp. Laughing as she told Denise, "Eric's like a retirement plan. He's not exciting, but he's stable. He'll never cheat. He'll always be there. Honestly, I probably should have married Mark, but he was too wild back then." Denise's eyes widened. Her face said everything. "Oh, there's more," I said, skipping ahead to the part where Claire admitted she never actually stopped seeing her ex. The one she swore was just a college thing. Apparently not. I paused the audio. Denise stood frozen. "I wasn't gonna play this," I said. "I really wasn't. But you came in here swinging like your sister's the victim." "She said all that?" Denise whispered. "She meant all that," I corrected. Denise sat down hard on the couch. "Shit. Yeah," I said. Now imagine being married to that voice for 11 years. There was silence for a while. Then Denise muttered, "She always thought she was the smart one." That got a chuckle out of me. Well, not smart enough to realize I had her mic'd. Denise shook her head. "I didn't know, I swear. I knew she was self-centered. But this, I believed her. Denise wasn't perfect, but she had never really liked the way Claire treated me. She just never said it out loud. Before she left, Denise looked at me like she was seeing me for the first time. You're not who I thought you were. Neither was Claire, I said. That night, I uploaded a few more clips to a private folder, labeled and timestamped, just in case things got ugly in court, which they did. Claire's next move was pure panic. She tried showing up at Mark's place, called me crying in the parking lot, sent long-winded texts about starting over and growing through pain. I didn't reply, but what I did next, that's when the real damage started. Because the one thing Claire had always counted on, more than my paycheck, more than my silence, more than my so-called safety, was me being predictable. But I had one last play left, and it was about to make every public move she made look like child's play. I agreed to therapy, but not for the reason Claire hoped. She thought it meant there was still a chance. That maybe the right words from a stranger in a cardigan would rewind time and make 11 years of subtle disrespect disappear. What she didn't get was that I wasn't going there to heal the marriage. I was there to bury it properly. Greg, the therapist, greeted us with that overly calm voice, the kind that makes you want to start a fight just to see if he'll flinch. Claire sat to my right, tissues already in hand, eyes perfectly red but not swollen. She'd been practicing that look. I knew it too well. So, Greg said, we're here because something broke your trust. Claire jumped in before I could even clear my throat. I know what I said sounded awful, and I take full responsibility for my words, but I was venting. I didn't mean Eric wasn't enough. I just stared at her. No reaction. I wanted her to be uncomfortable. She kept talking. I was frustrated. It was a stupid moment. I've apologized. I love him. Greg turned to me. Eric, what would it take for you to forgive her? I laughed. Like genuinely laughed. The kind of laugh you don't plan. It just spills out of you, raw and honest and loud. Claire flinched. Greg blinked. I let it hang in the air. Then I said, forgiveness isn't the issue. I forgave her the second I realized who she really was, because that meant I could stop pretending she was someone worth sacrificing for. Greg frowned. Claire's mouth opened like she was going to protest, but nothing came out. I leaned forward. You want to know what hurt? It wasn't the words. It was the years I spent building a life around a lie. Supporting someone who saw me as a ****ing benchwarmer. Who married me not because she loved me but because I was safe. Who stayed with me while texting other men what if late at night. I was never her partner. I was her fallback plan. Her boring plan B. Claire looked like she wanted to melt into the couch. Greg glanced at her. Is that true, Claire? She didn't answer. See, I said. That silence right there? That's what 11 years sounded like. Greg shifted awkwardly. Eric, are you here to work on this relationship? Or, I'm here to make sure she hears me say it, I said, out loud, in front of a professional. I'm done. Not angry, not bitter, just done. And I want it documented. Claire whispered something, but I didn't catch it. Greg gave her time to speak. I made mistakes, she said, but I never wanted this. I stood up. Neither did I, but it's what I've got, and I'm gonna make it count. I thanked Greg for his time and walked out before they could say another word. The best part? Claire had to sit in that room in that silence after I left. No dramatic exit. No scene. Just an empty chair where I used to sit, and the weight of everything she'd never admit. Outside, I sat in my car for a second. The air was cold, quiet, peaceful. Felt like freedom. But the real twist was still coming. Because Claire thought this was the end. She had no idea where I was moving next, or how close I was going to be. Because if she wanted safe, she was about to find out just how uncomfortable replaced can feel. You know what's better than walking away from a mess? Walking away into something that makes the mess sit up and watch. After the therapy session, Claire tried everything. Calls, texts, emails, mutual friends suddenly checking in. She even left a handwritten letter in my mailbox. Like we were in some Jane Austen drama and not a divorce that started with "you're just a backup plan." But nothing she said mattered anymore. The damage was too deep, and honestly, it wasn't even about anger anymore. It was about clarity. When you realize you've spent over a decade with someone who always saw you as a consolation prize, the emotional temperature drops below zero. I was done playing house with someone who had me filed under reliable but boring. Now here's the fun part. Claire's parents had always liked me. A lot. Her mom once said I was the only reason their daughter hadn't turned into a full-blown narcissist by age 30. Her dad and I used to watch football and gripe about yard work like we were war buddies. They were sweet, old school, and more emotionally available to me than Claire had ever been. So when I quietly asked if their guest house, the little renovated pool house behind their main home, was still being rented out on Airbnb, they said yes. I booked it, under my own name. No disguise, no secrecy. I moved in 2 weeks later. Same neighborhood. Just one driveway removed from the woman who used to call me safe. Claire lost her damn mind. She showed up outside the guest house looking like a tornado had dressed her. Hair wild, eyes red, and voice shaking. You can't stay here. This is my family. I didn't even look up from my book. Just said, they said I could. She tried logic. It's not healthy. You're stalking me. I smiled. I pay rent. On time. Unlike someone who used to forget our mortgage dates. Then came the begging. The tears. The classic manipulation. She tried the "we have so many memories" speech. I let her finish, then closed the door mid-monologue. Claire's mom dropped off cookies the next day. Her dad waved at me while mowing the lawn. I helped them move some boxes the following weekend. Claire saw all of it. I wanted her to understand something very simple. She thought I was the backup plan, but I was the one holding the structure together the whole time. Now, with me gone, the cracks were showing. And I was sitting poolside, watching it collapse, while sipping coffee with her dad. Eventually, she stopped coming around. Her texts got shorter. Her tone, colder. I think she realized the humiliation of seeing her ex-husband casually living in her old backyard while being adored by the people who raised her was worse than any fight we ever had. She couldn't spin the story, couldn't paint me as the villain. Everyone saw what happened. No one bought her version. And that was the point. I didn't need to ruin her. I just needed to live better, freer, and more honestly within full view. The guest house was never permanent, but it was poetic. And when I finally moved out, I left behind something she couldn't erase. A better version of me. Life post-Claire? Peaceful. Honest. Drama-free. I've rebuilt everything on my terms, with people who see me as more than just safe. So yeah, maybe I was the backup plan. But turns out that was the smartest place to start because now, I've got the life she always pretended we had.